I'm using 100 watts and the TS-700. The 700Gs are only 10 watt outputs, but you haven't got an amplifier in life, and you're not pointing in the right direction. It's the right answer to a few questions. Yeah, so I've got this radio seems to get out better than it is, and there's a few things I need to do. Changing the feed line from what I'm using at the moment, which is Mini 8. And using a more basic coax, and obviously I've got the mild set preamp, and people are saying I'm going to put this preamp up, but it's finding the time when I'm not watching it turning to do it. Back to you, Mark. This is G7CRQ.
Yeah, G7 CRQ M0 JCF in the group with G1NOX. Oh, thanks for that, Adam, and thanks for giving me a few pointers. As I say, the first time I've owned, I've owned and I've got analogue HF radios. It's the first time I've gone VHF without a frequency readout, apart from like crystal controlled FM rigs, which have just got channel numbers. So yeah, it's I'd say about probably 10-15 watts I think I'm seeing. I'm reading a peak of about 15 watts, but as I say, the dipole is just a tape measure dipole, one that I knocked up in a couple of minutes, literally it was an exercise before Christmas, just to see how quick I could make a little dipole for VHF out of a piece of tape measure and a bit of plastic pipe and whatever. So really this is just a lash up. I have got a 9-element beam up to the rigs in the loft, but I'm down in the garage today, so this is where I've got all my old heavyweight radios. So really it would have been better to have taken it up to the loft, and B, using the beam, but the beam is in a lowered position at the moment. I've got a longer pole to put up and I just haven't got round to it. I've had 101 things to do rather than climb around on roofs, so I do have to get up there and realign the beam and everything and put the longer pole in. Of course the other thing I could have done, I could have used the J pole that's up on the roof, and although vertically polarized again, it still would have been better, because obviously it would have been a lot higher. But that's the story there, Adam, and yeah, great to make a couple of contacts for the first time on this radio. It's got a preamp fitted. Don't know the make of the preamp, but there has been a preamp fitted and a few other modifications done to this radio, and it needs bulbs. It needs, apart from the on-air bulb, every other bulb in it has blown. So that's the meter, the VFO, and the band and fixed channel switches. They've both got they've all got blown bulbs, but I've got a handful of different flavour bulbs in my spares kit, so at some point I'll get on and do the bulbs as well. So back round to you there, and I don't know if we want to pass it round to Mal now. G7 CRQ M0 JCF.
A long time ago, in 1988 I had that the TS-700G. I paid £90 for it back then, and they were, that's 32 years ago, I don't know how many years ago it is. It's a long time ago. So about 34 years ago, so 90 quid then, and that was considered cheap. Great radio, really enjoyed the 700G. Slightly better than the 700, but the 700, the TS-700, you can actually modify it as they go 4 metres if you want to, but I think that'd be a waste of a really good radio. Once they're up and going, they're really good, and I might see if I can pick up another 700G. You'd have to be one in really good condition, but you can pick them up reasonably cheap. But there you go. Round to you, Mel, and NOX G7CRQ, you'll get them 360.
Yeah, G7CRQ, G1NOH with M0 JCF Mark. the audio coming from that is superbly punchy, and I mean it sounds good. I've just sent you a video, and have a look at that, and you'll know he's strong. You're very, very loud, but it's sounding really, really punchy and good. So if you was calling CQ, I dare say you get heard. I was talking to the other Mark over in Wimbledon last night, and we had a breaker from Dorset, and Mark was only running, he's an M6, he was running 10 watts, and I said spin to ping southwest, and you should hear him. And he was absolutely amazed. He worked down into Dorset, Christchurch, and he worked him on just a 10 watts. He said he wasn't very strong, but he was very readable, so he was very pleased with that. So that was good. Anyway, if you've got your phone there, Mark, have a look at the video. Adam, great to hear you as always. That you're very strong, but then there isn't a time when you're not. For your benefit, Mark, Adam runs a big wheel, lives in a block of flats on the top floor, and he runs a big wheel for 70 and for 2. So he's got no beam up, but he does very, very well on this band. Right, let me see if you got this video, Mark, and put it back round to Adam after that. M0 JCF in the group G1NOX, fella.
Yeah, G1NOX M0 JCF with G7 CRQ. No, I've got the phone next to me, but I haven't looked at it yet. I'll tell you for why, Mal, because I'm actually videoing this as well, because it's the first time I've used this rig. I'm doing a little video, you know, for my YouTube channel, just to put it up there. And but when I hand it round to Adam, then I'll have a quick look at the video. But what you got to remember as well is this is the Kenwood thing, isn't it? You know, Kenwoods do tend to have very good audio in both directions. To say that you're loud, Mal, would be an understatement, wouldn't it? I mean, really, saying you're loud is like saying Mount Everest is tall. So I'm going to leave it at that. But you're 5 and 9 to me on this antenna, this tape measure dipole, which is vertical at ground level in my garage, you know, and you're still Mount Everest there. So let's pass it round to Adam, and what I'll do is I'll have a look at this video that you've just sent me. Back to you, Adam. G7 CRQ M0 JCF.
You should be cooking the Sunday lunch on it. Go ahead, Adam.
G7 CRQ. I see what those radios in the day were used as context radios, and I suppose a lot of them use amplifiers to them, so it might be worthwhile finding. If you really want to go into the retro radio, which I totally agree with, it's a great hobby, old equipment, if you can find the amplifiers that accompany it, which read with the TS-700. That could be a right spot if you have a YouTube channel. That could be one up for that actual channel to show the radio and amplifier working together. I love stuff like that. I love to look at scottmclarkin.com and see what you get up to. Ranching Mount from G7 CRQ.
Yeah, he's got loads of hobbies. I won't list them for you, but Mark's a very interesting fellow, trust me when I tell you, and I mean that very sincerely. And he's also he's quite generous at times as well. So there you are. But I met Mark. I put the 7-element down and put the 6-element up, and he sat in the shed for about 18 months. And ended up giving it to Mark, and he's ended up giving it to his club, who's given it to a new M7. So the area was about 35 years old. It's an old 7-element Met, and we share gear around, and Mark's given me things, and I've given him things, and that's how it seems to work. So that's the great part of the hobby, Adam. But you was going to a rally somewhere, Adam. I can't remember where it was. Did you actually make it, and did you prop up the bar in the drinks tent, no?
Yeah, we went to this rally, didn't have a bar. Had a nice burger bar, had a nice Joe's the hot dog, a jumbo dog with cheese. That was quite nice. That was the
G7CRQ M0JCF. Sorry about that, Adam. I missed part of that. I turned the volume down to look at that video that that Mal sent me, so I wasn't really paying attention to what you were saying. If you was addressing me, apologies for that. Answering your question about the amplifier, yeah, to get the original Trio amplifier that goes with this radio would be very nice. But I do have a microwave modules 100-watt amplifier, and I've got a 25-watt amplifier. I've got the 25-watt one right in front of me. But you know, for what 10 watts to 25 watts, you're talking just over 3 dB gain. You know, it isn't really worth it unless, of course, you know, I was trying to save the output of the radio. But I'm not too fussed about that. I'm sure, you know, that Trio or Kenwood made the radio with longevity in mind, not like the modern stuff now that's got built-in obsolescence. So yeah, I've got the 100-watt amplifier should I need it, but to be honest, the 9-element beam that I've got should give me enough gain on the 10-15 watts this radio puts out. So you know, as Mal knows, I was using an old TR-731E, was it, Mal? Do you remember, Mal, a year or so ago? And 25 watts out the back on your 7-element beam, and I was working the bloke in Sweden. There was that morning, there was a few of us on and all battling to talk to him, and my radio actually got in there before anyone else, which was nice. It was of a struggle of a QSO, got to say, but we made contact, we swapped call signs, etc. And you know, if that's all you can do, that's all you can do, even in non-contest. You know, a 5 and whatever, or a 4 and whatever, and a 73 is good enough for me outside of contests, if that's all you can get out of it. You know, you make the contact and that's it. So yeah, you know, it is what it is. You know, you take the rough with the smooth. Some signals are going to be good, some are going to be bad, but for me it isn't always about power. You know, I'm quite happy on HF to run barefoot on whatever old radios I'm using, and really you know, just go with the flow in that way. But yeah, to get the actual matching amplifier just for the sake of it, I mean, that would be nice, but I would imagine they're about as rare as the radio themselves, if not rarer. So we just have to see what comes up with that. Right, I'll hand it round to you, Mal, and I'll tell you what, I've just watched the video, Mal, and do you know what's funny thing is, I was listening to it and I was thinking, that sounds like Mal talking there, and then I realised I was talking about the J-pole on the roof, and it's only hit me that I sound like you, Mal, on SSB on 2 meters. I don't know if that's good, bad or ugly, but take it as a compliment, obviously. Around to you there, Mal, and I say I will be going QRT in a second. I've got things to do, and I'll explain to you, not on the radio, Mal, what other little, you say I've got all these projects and hobbies on. Well, one of them's not mine, it's my eldest daughter's, but it's a massive project, and I'll explain to you in a message what's going on there. It's well, it's interesting for me as being a dad, but you know, it's the world and his dog don't want to hear about it. G1NOX M0JCF in cahoots with G7CRQ.
Yeah, you've gone HF slightly, Mark. Bring it down, only a tad. Just bring it down a tad, Mark. It goes slightly HF, over.
Yeah, I think obviously this old radio probably, especially on long overs, is probably going to have a little bit of drift, isn't it? But how's that?
Yeah, come back up 300 hertz.
How about that then?
Yeah, could be more.
Yeah, because now you sound really, really down to me. You sound low to me now.
Okay, you're reading 330.25. Follow me down to here. Right, that's 330 dead. He was reading 330.25. That's 100. And what have you. So follow me down to there. And if that's warmed up a little bit, I think in the general scheme of things, it actually ain't bad. But it don't sound bad, does it, on the video, Ola?
No, it sounds very good. I'm very pleased with it, and it was our man down Gillingham way that did it, and he was going to replace all the bulbs as well. And I said, no, that's okay. I've got buckets of different bulbs, different flavours, and to be honest, I'm quite happy to alter bulbs. If I've got one that doesn't fit, I can make it fit. It's all inside. It's a bulb at the end of the day. I won't butcher anything, but this radio's had mods done to it anyway. One of the things that was stopping it transmitting was the CW key was permanently switched on. So when I was turning the volume right the way down, I could hear a tone, and I couldn't work out where this tone was coming from. And he discovered that it was a Duff CW socket at the back, so he removed it for me. I've got plenty of sockets to replace it, but as I'm not a CW man, I'm probably not too fussed at the moment. I'm just going to make a plan up and see how to get the beam. I might be Mal. I might be like pulling all the cables from the loft anyway and running everything to the garage. We're getting to the point now where I've got so much more older gear than modern gear that, to be honest, I think my TS-520S and my TR-731 2-meter multimode, they're the only two real modern rigs up there now. I mean, there's loads of other stuff, but you know what? I don't use them that much now, so I might be better off just pulling back all the cables from the loft, rerouting them down to the garage, and then going with the beam and verticals and wires and God knows what else, and just have them all in the garage. I think that's probably, rather than have two inverted commas shacks, I'm better off just having one that I've got access to everything. And I mean, I don't have to have everything in here either. I can shove some sort of under the bed, that sort of thing, when I'm not using it. The more modern stuff, I can just leave it under the bed. So that's the story. So I'll hand it back to you, Mal. I say, Adam, I really appreciate you coming back to me and giving me some of that knowledge as well, especially as you was an old 700G user. I'm really beginning to love these old radios. I'm sure there's something to be said for all the modern stuff, but I'm an old school ham. Even though I failed my RAE in 1978, I am an old school ham, and I like the old school radios. I like the old school ways of operating. I'm not a DX cluster man, I'm not a waterfall man, I'm not a band scope man, and I'm certainly not a menus man. I mean, I've got menus obviously on the TS-520S and the FT817 and the little Chinese rig that I've got. It's all menu driven to a certain extent, not the way that say an IC7300 is and stuff like that, but no, I love everything in front of me, knobs, switches, things that go clunk and clank, that sort of thing. So I think that's the story there. And Mal, yes, this week, I think Thursday, I'll be picking up my IC740, so I'll be looking out for some quick checks on that one as well, probably next weekend. But 10 meters and 15 meters is very much open the last 3, 4, 5 weeks to F1, F2 propagation. So so I think I can get me test that way. And of course, sporadic E is up as well. Got some sporadic E the other day called CQ 10 meters, and had a couple of them come back to me. Italian. I had Portugal, a couple of Swiss stations came back to me on the sporadic E. So yeah, it looks like we've got a bit of a fun couple of months coming up with a mix of both E and F layer propagation. Okay, I think I've rambled on enough, probably enough for this thing to have drifted or probably even gone off completely. So I'm going to say goodbye and I'll hand it back to you, Mel. But as I say, once again, Adam, thanks for all the advice and the chat. Very, very nice to meet you for the first time on 2 meters. And on that, I'll hand it over to you, Mal, because you know what happens. I end up rambling on, and next thing we know, the sun's going down. A G1NOX M0 JCF in the group with G7CRQ.
Yeah, you drifted up again, point one, but you can bring that back down again. It sounds like it wants a crystal oven or a TCXO in it to hold it. But nevertheless, it sounds great and it's working well. 7-3 Mark, very good afternoon. Round to Adam and then I can talk about you with Adam, over.
Yeah, okay, Mike, I'll get out of you your full phone. You're still a bit weak with me, and I just need your suffix so I can have you look at your YouTube channel. Okay, well, don't worry about the radio drifting, because it's actually stabilised as the radio's warmed up, and they do. And you've not drifted that much. You sound pretty much on all the way through that last over. So, yeah, the radio just needed to warm up. And it's now quite stable, it's not drifting as much, so it's really just that initial warm-up of warming the finals up and stuff like that. And it's just, it's up pretty up to its operating temperature, if it carries on for the rest of the day, it probably stays virtually on frequency, but it's an old radio, they drift. We've got so used to having modern radios which don't drift, everyone keeps on complaining about it, but in the day, that's what happens. You drifted, you reach in, renet it back on again, and then just got on with it, you know. But you like some of the old radios I use, I still operate a Pi Cambridge on the AM and a Pi Westminster amongst other stuff, and one of my two bookmark radios I want to get is a KW2000 either a B, yeah, KW2000B, and the A2FT101E are two radios on my bucket list which I want to get hold of eventually. It obviously in good working order. I'm not one of those guys who can pull radios to pieces and service them, so for me there'd have to be working radios for me to pick them up, but those are two radios which I want. The KW2000B and the FT101E. There you go. Alright, Mark, back to you, mate. G7CRQ.
G7CRQ M0 JCF, yeah. Well, Mal was obviously a bit of a KW fan, and of course half the members of the Cray Valley Radio Society, they're all KW fans. I would talk to you about the Swan 350 that I've got. Paid 85 quid for it, but it didn't come with a power supply. So a few people have offered, a G3 ZPS, Steve, he's offered to loan me a power supply, but Guy G0UKN has given me an HT transformer and a filament transformer, so I'm going to build my own power supply anyway. So I'll sort of be going not quite KW, because obviously KW copied Swan, so I will be sort of in that ballpark. That's what we'll say. When I've got the Swan 350 going, I'll be in that ballpark, and that'll be nice. That'll be a nice radio to use, I'm sure, or it'll be totally crap, I don't know. Anyway, appreciate that, and I'll speak to you soon. No doubt on the 2 meters SSB, but you will have found me the last, I suppose, 5 weeks or so, mainly on 10 meters, some 15 meters, doing some HF work. I've had quite a lot of contacts into the Middle East, round to South Africa, and then South America. I haven't broken beyond there yet. Had a lovely rag chew with a bloke in Jacksonville, Florida the other day. It was quite by accident. Him and a GB5 station were going QRT, and it was GB5 that had the frequency. He announced, right, I'm going QRT for like 15 minutes or so. So just being a bit saucy, I just jumped in and called the WA1 station and asked if he was on frequency, and he come back to me, and yeah, a nice 15-20 minute rag chew there on that was 15 meters if I remember rightly. So yeah, definitely there's some HF around, and that's where you'll find me normally. Anyway, as you can tell, Adam, I do tend to ramble on and carry on, and saying goodbye is probably one of my longest overs, but I'll make this my last one. So round to you, Mal, and thanks again, and thanks for coming on, Mal, and giving us this check, and thanks for the video as well. What I'll do is I'll add it to my YouTube channel. As I say, that was originally just storage space for my videos, but it's become quite active in as much as, you know, I've got lots of subscribers and stuff like that, which I didn't expect. So it's gone beyond just storage now to people asking my advice and stuff like that, and I'm probably the wrong person to ask. Anyway, G1NOX M0JCF in the group with G7CRQ. Very big thanks, and 73. Bye bye for now.
Yeah, you want to check on that other bit of equipment, just message me, Mark. 7-3, good afternoon, great to hear you. And I'll put it around to Adam in a minute, but Adam, he likes all that old equipment. The good thing about the KW stuff is if you start at the bottom of the band, by the end of the contact, you're at the top of it. So that's the good thing about that. But, and our friend Mark, his birth certificate is written in Italian from a quill because he likes all that old gear at the moment.
Oh, we've got two things in common. Oh well, so we'll have to meet him up. Now, because I don't really think he's call sign. I keep getting M0 Juliet Charlie Sierra. Is that his call sign? G7CRQ.
Charlie Fox, over.
Charlie Fox Sierra JSC Juliet Fox Sierra M0. Right, couldn't come up on yours now. It's alright, it's kept on thinking this guy's up in Sheffield. Oh, never mind. I'll take it. I've got my own YouTube channel. I've got tweets not like his mate, it's a hobby channel. I do it for the fun of it, G7CRQ.
Yeah, indeed, but yeah, Mark done it originally, as he stated, to store all his videos. He does quite a lot of those, and now he's got lots of followers, but he didn't do it for that. But there you are. I've got some old equipment myself.